Now, at my time,
I already know what you're afraid of.
everybody know how scary I am.
A cemetery.
A barn coward with a big yellow streak going right down my back. But I guess if you're going to try to get to the main one, don't do that. I scare a loud noise. Okay, but I'm very scared of the supernatural. Now, some people
In cemetery.
laugh about the supernatural and say that imagination, but I say it's scientific fact that nobody can prove there's no ghost, and nobody know about the spirit world. And I want to be on the safe side and stay out of the cemetery, stay out of the dark house, haunted mansion, and all of them kind of thing. And I'm scared to death of demon and devil and bad goblin and all them.
Those ones that gobble up the french fries?
See, what I think about is that, okay, they start you out when you're young, they tell you fairy tale and scare you to death about a giant and all them wits and everything, and the troll and leprechaun and stuff. Then later they say, oh, don't believe in that, that's just story. But how come people know about that to begin with? It must have had some kind of truth in it, called otherwise where it comes from.
I don't know, but
There is supposed to be a grain of truth in the stories about the leprechauns and the trolls.
I never really thought much about it because
Truth
I was
is
so
mixed
busy
with
everyday
mirth.
life.
It's hard to separate the truth from the myth, so I don't want to take no chance and scare me to death to... Oh, now, sometimes I'll read a scary book. I don't know why I did that to myself.
Like of hands going like that.
Yeah, I like to watch scary shows sometimes and read scary book, but just once in a while. And
Not very often, just once, you know.
I always try to see if I'm making any progress. Am I getting any better? Then I go to bed and lie there stare at the ceiling. I say, well, dumb Clem, why you do that? So then I get up and go out somewhere where it's nice and light.
Sure. Well, there's reasons to be scared of some of that stuff. It ain't all mirth.
Can I go now? Yes, you may go.
I'll tell you what I'm afraid of. This might not have much to do with everyday life, but I've always been afraid of instruments of torture of the past.
That's a very good
How
one.
ugly they are, like guillotines.
Describe them to us.
And old creaking joints.
The dungeon,
And the burner, and the torture, and the disembowel.
water dripping on them dark, dank stones. Describe it for us.
You had described it.
Tell us some more.
But all I want to say is that I'm afraid of those. Please go on before I go.
Oh, I know what he's talking about. It reminds me of all those pictures of the old castles and those terrible dungeons.
And I was also afraid of things like bodies wrapped in plastic bags or paper bags.
Well, he brought up something I was thinking about that, I was going to say that I always had this terrible fear of the executioner, They always show him with a big black robe on, and when you see the Ku Klux Klan and the white robes, they remind me of the executioners, the medieval ones, only they had black robes, and I always thought it would be so terrifying. There you are in your little dungeon, and the executioner comes, and out you go, and
Off it goes.
well, usually it has connections with the headman's axe, or the guillotine, or then later on hanging, and all those horrible punishments they used to do in the older days just send shivers down me. I just don't see how on earth anyone could have been so inhumane, one to the other. I mean, here they are, supposed to be civilized men, and what kind of punishments they gave to people. What just, would just shiver you to death to think of it, and even worse, the further back you go, imagine crucifying people. That's horrible, you know, just, how could they do such a thing, you wonder? And everyone thought it was normal then.
Well, they grew up with it so long.
Well, they never knew nothing different. Why, they thought hanging was humane after all that. Now that seems barbaric.
Well, that's what I mean, but I sure am glad that it got better. You know, people can say what they want about these times and worry about the bomb blowing us all up and all, but I'll take these days any day over those terrible
Yeah, me too.
days back then.
That's where'd you get that thing over there, that urn? Where'd you get that?
That was a gift.
Doesn't
A
that look
colleague
like
of mine.
it would contain ashes of a cremated person?
It does possibly put that in your mind, but it's a beautiful urn, a gift from a fellow colleague.
See, those are things that scare me, or things that contain weird things. But I
It
think,
is your turn to tell us now.
besides that, my main fear is, this might sound strange, but you know how in old industrial factories, before they had any safe laws against all this stuff, how many horrible accidents could happen?
Oh, yeah.
You know, like people getting caught in machinery and how ragged out they looked after that, and how, you know, like back in 1900 and all these crazy things you found in food, and some of it was spoiled, and sometimes you find, you know, things that people have accidentally dropped in factories and they came out in the meat or something
Yeah.
like that. That scares me, man.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Because up there around Buffalo, you have a lot of textile mills, and a lot of times you hear on the news about somebody got their hand cut off from it. It got sewed, or something, you know, the needle hit it, or something like that. And, you know, I never wanted to work in a place like that.
Industrial accidents.
I even hit
Some
my
of them are
finger.
very gruesome.
I even hit my finger with the typewriter one time, and my whole fingernail came off.
I caught my finger in the electric mixer one time, and that really hurt.
Uh-huh. And, you know, people who are, you hear stories about men getting their ties caught in blenders and that kind of
Aye,
thing.
that's right.
Golly. And remember what happened to Jane Mansfield? Yeah.
It was a
You know, all
weird
these kind of
death.
things, you know, they have to do with, you know, just, it's so creepy. All these normal everyday things like mixers and blenders and electric knives and all these things, they look so innocent. And then after an accident, you kind of treat them with, you know, you kind of look at them like they were a murderer or something. I always, you know, just even the thought of ordinary things killing people, it's like a friend that betrayed you.
What about even catching your hand in the wringer washer, you know, things
Yeah,
like that?
I did a poem about that one time. I remember
Yeah,
a
washing
baby,
machine dangers.
no, not a baby, but something got caught in a. I read a story one time about someone got caught in a steam press, and that was a book by Stephen King. Someone got caught in a steam press, and the thing had gotten possessed by the devil or something like that. But it was a weird thing.
Aye, that's as bad as getting locked in the wax museum and all the figures come to life. Arr.
Yeah,
The squid
I
figure.
had a dream like that one time after seeing a wax museum movie.
Hey, let's do Sarah now, and after that, why don't we discuss some of the weird dreams we've had?
It's a good idea.
They didn't have to be scary, but just some of the way out ones.
Well, all right. Sometimes dreams are very peculiar and not necessarily always a reflection of the subconscious, but just more like fragments. Well, Cyril? Oh, there are so many things you've already mentioned that are very frightening to me. I guess to add to it, I've had great fears of falling into an area I couldn't get out of, and no one knowing I was there, and facing starvation and
Or
thirst.
getting locked in old refrigerators.
Well, yes, that would be the suffocation factor that was mentioned, but it would seem to me that as well as the physical discomfort of being unable to get free, you would also have a lot of emotional and mental derangement from wondering how long this was going to take, and or would you be rescued or would you not? And
Falling
it
down an
seems like
elevator
there-
shaft and the elevator lands them.
it seems to me that you could very well go mad quite easily, which brings up another fear that if I could just stick this one in briefly, I've always been quite afraid of insane asylums.
Oh, tell me about it. Those are gross.
Even the word is gross.
Guy, I
Yeah.
saw one in a movie. They have all those little pillow-like things on the wall. God, man, it freaks you out.
I first heard of them when I was just a kid. I heard my mother and father,
Padded cell.
they were reading about someone that went to the asylum, and I asked what that was, and I thought it sounded bad, and I was
The
right. It
Bughouse.
was bad, and later on, of course, I read books and saw movies about
Is that what
how
it
awful it is in there. And what's even more terrifying is that sometimes a perfectly sane person can get sent
Can
there.
go insane just because of. I heard this girl in Texas killed her parents just for a fight over cleaning her room.
It was probably a long build-up of, frustrations, one piled on top of the other. Anyway, you could be sent there by a bad relative or something, and you couldn't get out, and
Look at all
you
those
could
people-
actually go crazy while you were there.
People who got buried alive.
It's true.
Look at those people who got buried alive. Back in the old days when
I think that
before
would
they
be
performed autopsies.
that would probably be
Very scared, like you were
about
saying,
the worst of all.
being trapped and not being able to get out.
And like this movie with Ray Milland, Premature Burial.
I remember that. Yeah. Me and Squint saw
He
that
was-
together.
He was really trying to make sure it didn't happen. And then it happened anyway.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a good show.
It was good.
But I guess that would be also, a byproduct of that would be fear of running into anyone that had escaped from this insane asylum.
Ooh. Yeah, they do weird things. I heard this one
Suppose
guy,
that one came and barged into your house, and
they eat bugs and all that stuff. Grass.
a person that isn't sensible and rational, you couldn't really argue with him too good, I mean,
And
you didn't
epilepsy.
know what he was going to do.
Epilepsy scares me.
It would be best to hit him over the head with your wrench.
Yeah, that's the best way of all.
That would be the thing to do.
That's what Squint's scared of the most is wrenches.
One fell on me head one time. I never told you that.
Well, you kept talking about wrenches every time we were talking about scary
But
things.
my father used to have some of them hanging up on the wall, on nails. And one fell on me head one time and it knocked me out. And I came to and I thought I had died.
I remember you told me about that.
Hey, Ruben hadn't told us first. What do you know?